Welcome to the show. This is No Interference Live. It is week one of the NFL season. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, depending on where you are, I guess. Beautiful sort of here. But we are doing our first live show of the new season. We had a great opening game, Thursday Night Football, but we are going to go over a few things with you today. Schedule, upcoming games today and tomorrow, a little bit of fantasy tidbits for you. See how it goes. I guess I missed the jersey memo. Trevor, you are muted.
Rusty, sorry.
Alrighty.
I was saying, is it really a beautiful day out today? It's raining and it's cloudy.
I'll be honest, I haven't looked at my window in like an hour.
Very, very dark outside for being 11 o'clock in the morning.
All right.
Also, one other comment. Yes, you missed the jersey memo.
I have to decide what jersey I want to wear today to get the superstition started.
I feel like this jersey did me pretty good for the fantasy drafts I was in. I wore them too, and it's super. I'm a little stitious when it comes to wearing jerseys on game day. So if we lose today, that being the Eagles, this will not be seen the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's how I do it. I start with one and I wear it until they lose.
I give it to RJ. He's stuck with wearing his Commanders Washington gear for years, lose or win.
Rep it.
It's just a baseline
of out
and
about after a loss too. You talk all your smack. No shame in this.
Yes, it's just a baseline of fandom. So you can never say the jersey is at fault for loss or win.
Not even a little stitious.
Yes. All right, I'll let you go, Taylor.
Oh, no, I was going to say we can dive into this Thursday Night Football. The Lions get the upset, 21-20. And if you were like me, then you picked the Lions to win. What do y'all think about the game?
I feel like Detroit came in this season with a lot of steam. A lot of people have them going to the playoffs. What did they finish the year last year? Like 8-1 or something
like that.
So they've been building up to get to a point where they're recognized during the offseason for a few years now with Dan Campbell. So I'm not really surprised. We were talking the other day. I'm mostly surprised due to the way they won. Like Detroit, usually this is not a game they win. Like teams like Detroit don't win these close grinder games, end of the fourth quarter, you got to make a long drive plays to pretty much seal the deal. And they did that. Now on the other side, the Chiefs were without their second and third best player in Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, which you could argue in a 1-point game that probably would have, I wouldn't say, I don't want to take away from the Lions and say probably, but it potentially could have changed the outcome of the game. Tony dropping a few passes here and there.
One causing that pick six.
Yeah, that's an understatement, dropping a few passes here and there. Like he
had the second worst receiving grade in the last 5 or 6 years for
really
PFF. And the only worst was a Titans receiver. I think his name was Nick Williams. In 2018, he had 2 targets. One was a pick because he obviously should have ran to the right, and he ran to the left. So Tannehill just bulleted the ball to the safety. And his second target was a wide open game winner in the end zone, and he bobbled it standing still and dropped it.
I think I remember that. I was gonna say, how do you have such a bad grade with only 2 targets? But that'll do it.
That'll do, pig. But I mean, this was a good game. I won't say I'm on the Lions bandwagon, but I think they're a good team. I like Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff's had a weird career where he went from being maybe the most overrated quarterback in the league to being now one of the most underrated quarterbacks. The Lions, they made 2 mistakes basically in the game. They had that fumble in the right outside the red zone. Well, three mistakes actually. They had the fumble right outside of the end zone in the first quarter, I think. Then they on that one play they had that botch snap that took them out of field goal range when Goff lost like 11 yards on the botch snap.
The motion, yeah.
Yeah, and they had that penalty that would have the Chiefs were 4th and 2.
Mm-hmm.
They accepted it to make it like 3rd and 17 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Mahomes throws like a 30-yard crossing route. So usually against the Chiefs, you don't recover from those 3 mistakes. Lions were able to make a few key plays. I think they stopped the Chiefs on like 4 straight possessions to end the game to keep that lead.
Something like that. They had pretty solid defense all game.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you think about the Lions going forward, Gibbs, who was like tearing it up in the first half, saw hardly any touches in the second half.
You know,
Not
that
like
really
that.
pissed me off.
Well, I
Me
know,
too. Did
yeah,
not like
yeah.
that one bit. I have him
I haven't-
in one of my fantasy leagues as well, but
Yeah, I have him in 2 leagues. He had like 7 carries for 42 yards and 2 catches for like 20 yards. And then I get it. You want to stick with the veteran, and Montgomery's more of a power back at the end of the game in the second half, you know, to prevent, you know, a turnover or a mishap or something here or there. But
there was that
from a
play where
fantasy perspective,
Gibbs like ripped off like a 15-yard run to get into Chiefs territory, and then they brought in Montgomery, who went 3 straight carries, 3 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards, and they punted on 4th and 1
yeah. I
or
mean,
4th and 2.
Gibbs is definitely. I mean, he was coming in. He was one of the most explosive players in the draft, and he looked the part that game. Yeah, he's a rookie too, so they might just want to be easing him in. So we'll see. Hopefully, he plays more. For that was most of my opinions for him was based on fantasy, but he had a good game.
Yeah, and then the Lions, once they get Jameson Williams back from suspension,
That's another thing. Like, he's a guy. He's pretty much their like. Trying to think of their receivers off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure he's like their lone like
deep threat.
Yeah, deep threat.
Yeah,
You know, space out the field for the other players. They didn't really have that, so pretty good.
yeah, I was impressed. Defense looked good, and then if you look at their division, like
damn, that thunder! Holy crap!
Whose house is that at?
It's mine.
I heard-
Storm's brewing.
I heard slow little rumblings in the background. I was like, "Is that thunder?" That sounded like right outside your window.
Literally.
We're
Scared the
just in
crap
the
out of
middle of
me.
the show, and then all of a sudden there's just like a huge flashbang on RJ's screen, blasts away.
Power goes out.
Back to what we were talking about.
Shoot, what were you saying?
Still about the Chiefs Lions game.
Yeah.
Are we concerned about the Chiefs?
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna get to. The thing is, Travis Kelce, he might miss one more week and then he'll be back, and that's a huge band-aid. Chris Jones, I would be worried about that, because if he holds out or gets traded, their defense, I mean, let's think Chiefs defensively. They have a okay secondary, and they have Nick Bolton.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, like, Chris Jones is getting you like I think he averages like 12 sacks right up the middle. Like, that has a huge effect on opposing offenses and quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you have to at least be a little bit worried about their receiving core. Like, their rookie Rice got basically a wide open touchdown. I think that's when you sent that text saying
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid is like the GOAT offensive coordinator because he just gets people wide open. But then Tony, I would be more worried about his like mental focus. Like, if he's gonna get in his head and like not recover.
He doesn't seem to have much focus in general.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could definitely I'm not an NFL receiver. I don't know. I mean, I would probably be dropping. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Hands aren't that bad, but yeah, those were just that one pick six was just pure like bad luck. But I would be concerned as a Chiefs fan. Like Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, are we going to finally see like they can only do so much for you without with such a limited receiving core? Like last year, it was limited and they lost people. I know Sky Moore second year in the draft and stuff, but I think you were big on Sky Moore, weren't you?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm big on him, but I thought he was a dynamic player that they could, because they need it's money on me to play. Need a number one wide receiver, and he's got the ability, but he did, he had a couple drops himself in that first game.
Did he have any catches?
No catches.
No catches. Yeah, and he could have had a few, and he could have helped me out in fantasy, but he didn't. He had a carry, which is something I did in Madden before. I did transition him over to a running back, and I feel like they could use him in that too, but it didn't really work out on Thursday. So
yeah, you both were a fan of Tooney too. Tooney or Tony? I never.
Well, remember. Yeah, when Tony gets Tony, I think it's Tony. When he gets the ball in his hands in open space, I mean, he's a menace. But he's got to get the ball in his hands first, which he didn't really show too many issues with drops over the last 2 years. It was mainly injuries from what I've seen. So that was just a horrible display, on Thursday. Hopefully he can bounce back. I definitely would have put him in a sick category anyway, especially being somebody who's so injured all the time. You kind of wait to see what he does. But I wouldn't give up on him yet,
Yeah, a report came out that the Chiefs front office is like really high on him, but
I mean that was tough. No hands.
Yeah.
Looked like Carlos Rogers out there.
What was his nickname? What was it? Did he have an actual nickname or was it just something we called him?
Who, Brick Hands?
Nub Hands or something?
Nub Hands, yeah. We call Carlos. Yeah, because he would get himself in the perfect position to make an interception and then drop it every time.
Yeah, and then the next year he had like 8 picks
7
for the 49ers or something.
Yeah, it was crazy. He clearly went to hand school during the offseason and worked on them fingers.
Let me ask a question to you guys. What's our hot meter? I won't say that. What's our worry meter for the Chiefs, and what's the what's the opposite of worry meter? What would be a good meter for the Lions?
Ceiling.
How high are you on
meter?
Height meter.
How high are you? Yeah, how high are you on the Lions, and how low are you on the Chiefs on a meter of 1 to 10 going into week 2?
I mean, for the Lions, I would have to say an 8, just because the NFC is not really loaded with talent.
Exactly.
And their division, like you got to think like they're coming out of the division on top, probably.
What about you?
I mean, I would say the same, literally the exact same, but I'm not going to say the Vikings are not, they don't have a chance to take the number 1. But I think personally the Lions are guaranteed at least to make the wild card.
Yeah, I would agree around an 8 as well, just because this is probably one of the most difficult games on their schedule, and just to get a win there, it gives you a little bit of leeway. And as long as they win the games they're supposed to win from here on out, they already got one that was maybe like like going into the year marked as a loss, maybe to other people that aren't Lions fans. But
like how if we would have went through the schedule like we did last year and picked wins losses, we definitely would have put Chiefs win, even though we have all been watching the Lions rebuild.
Taylor said he would have picked win, but yeah, I agree. I probably would have taken.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying, but probably we do best 2 out of whoever.
I wouldn't have picked a win, full strength, but
when Chris Jones is up in the stands watching from the VIP suite at this point.
Yeah,
it's weird to see, that's for sure. I didn't like seeing that. It is what it is, though. He's got to get his bag. I ain't gonna hate on him, man. They gotta do what they gotta do. Not my business. But Dan Campbell has done something special there in Detroit, and that alone is a W for that city. I mean, we talked about it, but then we saw it in Hard Knocks, which was really cool to actually get to see, his processes, and then, bam, last season they were on the up. Not the best season, but it's nice to see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on to just the rest of the league. And do we have any news to announce?
There's not really anything big to announce. The only thing besides like game time stuff, I did see one report that the trade talks for Jonathan Taylor and the Colts would possibly resume.
Need that to happen.
He's sitting on my IR spot.
Yeah, I can do a quick little updates here, and then we can go on to the previews. But, Cooper Kupp, he's going to be on IR, so he's out at least 4 weeks.
Have him.
Yeah. Of course, over the weekend, it's Thursday, Joe Burrow got his huge contract extension, highest paid player of all time. Everybody saw that coming eventually.
Yep.
Deserved.
Yeah, well deserved.
Pretty much that was the biggest news. There's some game time stuff, but I some fantasy type stuff, but I'll wait till later in the show for that.
Cool. Yeah, nothing new, late breaking. I'm sure some people in fantasy are hurting with some of the injuries. Those of us who drafted a little earlier might be feeling it.
Did you get Kupp and Jonathan Taylor in 2 leagues?
Well, in our league, I went Kupp first round, Taylor second round.
Oh, you did?
Well, yeah, because Kupp wasn't like as seriously hurt. They were just like, oh, he'll be okay. And then Jonathan Taylor hadn't been put on the PUP yet, and that was when they said that the trade talks were like going before.
I don't blame you for making the picks. It just sucks.
Yeah, I got Jonathan Taylor.
You're pretty much in a two game hole immediately, unless you make some amazing.
I saw someone on like Instagram posted that they went Travis Kelce in the first round, Cooper Kupp in the second round, and then Jonathan Taylor in the third round.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's gonna be a rough season.
I ended up picking Jonathan Taylor in like the 4th or 5th because he slipped in our 1 league SAS, and that's why I talked to you about that before I did it. That's why I had backup options too.
Yeah,
but he's apparently his ankle injury has progressed well, is what I read today. So just up for 4 weeks, but
yeah, if you get him in the first or second round, it just sucks having that player out for.
I think it's an ankle injury.
Yeah, probably
could be.
But let's go to the preview games. Week 1. First game on our slate is the Cincinnati.
Don't talk about the Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. Let's see. I have no stats.
Well, it's week 1.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. So
we can base everything off of last year right now, but
pretty
much everything's going to be what we think is going to happen.
Fresh.
So Bengals are at the Browns. I was trying to pull up the odds real quick.
They betting odds is Cincinnati -2. That's the spread. The money lines Cincinnati. Over under is 47.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Browns aren't a terrible team. It's just Deshaun Watson. Are we going to get vintage Texans Deshaun Watson? Or are we getting, last year rusty Deshaun Watson? And based on some of like videos we saw in preseason and training camp, I think we might be getting like just okay Deshaun Watson.
There were a lot of reports coming out that he had a poor offseason or training camp, whatever you want to say. Just from my firsthand, well, that's not really firsthand knowledge, but as an Eagles fan following Eagles reporters, since we did a split, what's it called?
Joint practice?
Yeah, joint practice. Apparently he didn't look that good. He got picked off a bunch. I think he got picked off like 4 times in like 3 practices. And And I even read some like Browns articles saying like he hasn't looked that good, which you usually don't see from, usually I feel like reporters want to pump up their what's his contract again? $200 million,
Something like
230.
that.
Yeah,
Fully
whatever.
guaranteed.
Yeah, usually you think the reporters want to pump him up because you're not getting rid of him, but they did not. I would be a little concerned as a Browns fan, but if he can play just a little bit better than he did last year, which is his first time playing in a while, and he had he couldn't practice with the team the first. Well, I don't think he could practice the first portion of the year while he was doing a suspension. But this year he had a full training camp, full off season with the team, and the playbook. And I would assume, based on what he was before, he should be able to bring back some of that. Maybe not all of it, but maybe 75% of it. And I think with a team like the Browns, who have the talent they have, none of that it's mattered in the past, should be able to win some games. And just for this game, and sorry, I shouldn't do a full year talk like a full year thing, but against Cincinnati in general, I think Cleveland could win this game just because Joe Burrow missed most of the training camp with the calf injury. He hasn't really practiced, and he's just now coming back. He might be a little rusty, pretty much like a preseason game for him, just to get, back into the swing of things. Unless Joe Mixon goes off today, they can rely on the running game. But
I'm smashing the Bengals all day.
Yeah, I just think I'm not hating on the Browns, but the Bengals are one of the upper echelon teams. So
I do hope Deshaun Watson gets back to his previous form. I have him in 2 leagues, and I think he can. But it's just like Taylor said, it's the Bengals aren't, it's just not a regular division rival. This is the upper echelon of the AFC. It's not just, a gimme.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
All right, moving on. Next game, we have the Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. Let's see, what do I have for that game? The Ravens are 9.5-point favorites. I think it dropped a little bit once Mark Andrews got hurt, but I don't think that really matters. CJ Stroud, his first NFL start as a rookie. The Ravens' pass defense is a little bit in shambles, but the Texans' best player right now is Dameon Pierce, and the Ravens just year to year usually take away the run. So I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to force Stroud to put the ball in the air and see what he looks like. But it's just, unless he has one of those like Cam Newton debuts where he goes off for 5 touchdowns, I think it's going to be one of those games where the Ravens are in halftime are bringing in their backups.
Yeah, I think Lamar Jackson's coming in off his wonderful contract extension. He's going to be happy to get out there with no, weight on his shoulders or, stuff like that bearing down on him, which it has the last few years. Apparently they're going to come out. Maybe their offense is a little different this year, throwing the ball a little bit more, have a little different style to it. They have OBJ, Zay Flowers, who I love. And hopefully Bateman can be Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman. Todd Monken brings his, offense from Georgia. I am curious to see how this goes because I don't think it would be wise to fully get away from what they've been doing the last 3 years because that's kind of what made their offense special. But it'd be nice if they could sprinkle in some better pass elements. But, I mean, the Texans, in all likelihood, are going to be vying for the number 1 pick again. Mm-hmm. So, sure, the 9.5 points maybe makes you a little nervous if you're betting on the game, but it's Ravens all day.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that the weather's kind of cruddy today in Baltimore. I don't know if it's supposed to be at kickoff, but if it does somehow turn into a gritty game. But even that plays into the Ravens' favor, in my opinion. Stroud, like you mentioned, Stroud's a rookie. Pierce is their best player. So, and the Ravens historically play pretty well against the run. And it's Stroud's first game. So I don't see how the Ravens don't come out on the top here.
Let's just see how they do, because they tend to play down to the level of their opponents. So
that's possible.
All last year, Lamar hasn't played in an extra 5 games he would have played in at the end of the season last year too. Definitely, if I had a bet, I wouldn't. I don't like those odds.
Someone's calling for the upset.
No, if it was a win-loss straight up bet, I'd pick the Ravens. Definitely don't like the -9.5 though.
Yeah. Let's see. So I mean, that's pretty
money
clean
line,
cut.
that's it.
All right. We haven't gotten quite to any of like the juicy games yet. Up next on the schedule is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Minnesota. Where's the spread on this game? The Vikings are 4.5-point favorites. I mean, no more Tom Brady. That Super Bowl's in the past now for the Buccaneers. I don't know. Do you think Baker Mayfield has any juice left?
That's the one thing I'm excited about for this game, is to see what he's got with those weapons. But if he doesn't, then I'm not going to be surprised either. I'm just a Baker fan and would like to see it.
I'm the complete opposite. I'm not saying I don't think he has any juice left. He might be able to, I think Baker at his peak right now can be a little bit better than a game manager. Like, he might have a game like he did last year for his debut with the Rams, where he can make some throws that a regular quarterback can't make. But overall, he still has a high risk of turnovers or some kind of mistakes. So I think as long as he can, prevent a loss, that's the best you can ask from him. That might be a little harsh because he still does have an arm. But also Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they're both getting up there in age. Tampa Bay's offensive line, I don't think has any improvements from last year, and they were pretty bad last year. Rashad White, they don't have Leonard Fournette anymore, which, I mean, take what you will with him. He wasn't that great last year. But Rashad White's back there. I like him, but
I like him.
That O-line concerns me overall.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm taking the Vikings all day. I just want Baker Mayfield to throw bombs to Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Every pass, throw a bomb to Mike Evans.
The Vikings were, susceptible to, giving up points last year on the back end. So.
Yeah, but that offense is still good. People keep
look at the Vikings.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson,
Jordan Addison now replaces
Addison.
Yeah, I would easily take Minnesota -4.5.
They lost Dalvin Cook, but Alexander should be solid.
He's consistent.
They got that rookie running back too.
He's had to come in.
They got that rookie running back out of North Carolina.
I was going to double check that. I can't remember anything off the top of my head. Yeah. But, Vikings 4.5. I mean, just from what I've seen I was like, you know what? I haven't lost faith in Baker, but from what I've seen with the Buccaneers, I'm
an idiot. He was from last year. Ty Chandler.
Oh. No one cares about Ty Chandler. So, yeah, I think we're all going with the Vikings on that one.
Yep.
All right. This isn't we haven't got to the juicy games yet. Up next is Panthers at Falcons. The Falcons are favored by 3.5. They get the 3 points for being at home. I mean, you got some top rookies, Bijan Robinson and Bryce Young. That'll be, exciting to see their debuts. The
That's all you have for this game.
Yeah, I mean, I might like say, okay, Falcons, sure, I'll take them. Quarterback wise, Ritter, I have no idea how that's going to go, but you got Bijan Robinson, Tyler, was it Algier,
Algier, yeah.
Kyle Pitts, Drake London. I like Arthur Smith as a coach. His teams seem to always be in the games.
They have a great
But
rushing attack overall. He's got a good mind for the run game. That was their biggest strength last year. They had a trio with some young guys in there, but clearly they drafted Bijan Robinson still. So,
but yeah, on the Panthers, not much to love.
The Panthers O-line's not terrible. They added Miles Sanders. Now, you can say what you will about him, but healthy. He's one of the more efficient backs in the league, yards per carry wise. Now, his hands aren't that great, and they say they see him as a 3-down receiving, full package back. We'll see if that's the case. I'm not super down on Carolina for this game. I know a lot of people like Atlanta this year, even to potentially make the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, it's a game, Ritter.
Someone has to win the division.
Yeah, I mean, Ritter's pretty much a rookie quarterback. He didn't play much last year. I didn't love what I saw from him last year, but, they have weapons. I mean, if Kyle Pitts can, come back this year, play well, Drake London, I like a lot. Bijan Robinson for, supposed to be, this all-star back coming in. And I would agree with that. And they still have, as you mentioned, the other running backs back there. And Arthur Smith, he proved last year that he can run the ball with what they had. And they're just adding Bijan Robinson to that mix. So,
I mean, over unders just at 40. So yeah, we'll see.
I'll go with Atlanta here, though, just from a little bit more experience from the quarterback, and I think they have a little bit more offensive firepower.
Yeah, I'm taking Atlanta. If this game was like week 8 or so, I might go with Panthers because Bryce Young is going to be more established. I did watch a lot of Bryce Young's some preseason highlights, and like one thing you do like about him is his pocket awareness seems like really good. But we'll see.
Well in the preseason,
it'll be an interesting game.
Yeah, I'm taking next too, but I think they're both could be two of the worst teams this year when it comes down to the end of the season records.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
So next up, we have the local game, the Arizona Cardinals at the Washington Commanders. Commanders are 7-point favorites. Yeah, I mean, if you wanna take over, resident fan, you can go ahead.
Well, I think the biggest thing for that game is Kyler Murray's not playing. So overall, Josh Dobbs is the starter. So overall, Kyler Murray has given us, seems like more than everybody else, issues with his running more than anything. Every time you try to get a sack, Twinkle Toes is out. That's just one of his features. He's got quick feet. I don't know too much about Josh Dobbs, especially as a starter. I would have liked to seen obviously a healthy team, completely healthy team, but it is what it is, and it's still an NFL team. But I'm going to take the Commanders, trying to leave the bias out just because of overall talent. And Sam Howell's going to do his thing. Hopefully, that's my.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Sam Howell in live action. Josh Dobbs, I mean, he's a journeyman for a reason. I don't know, nothing special. Hollywood Brown and Zach Ertz are both apparently a little banged up. They are playing, but they have some injuries, and it seems like every other decent player on the Cardinals is trying to get traded. Like I think Budda Baker said that he wants out, and they, as of now, won't trade him. They already traded. What was that linebacker?
Hassan. Not Hassan.
The one that they drafted in the first round.
Yeah, they just traded to the Giants. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, they traded him for nothing too.
Oh, Simmons, Isaiah Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons, yeah, he's a freak athlete.
But yeah, I mean, this is the game. It's 7 points, but I mean, no offense, Washington could Washington, but I think this is I would be surprised if the Cardinals put up over 10 points in this game.
I'm taking Washington all day here. I'll give Washington the 7. You know, Sam Howell has, from what I've seen, he's only looked good in any of the games he's played in preseason or regular season. I've just seen good. I haven't watched him like you, RJ, but he looks good to me. He looks like he can throw the ball wherever, and he makes plays. Washington still has a ton of offensive weapons. They have Bijan. Not Bijan. That's what Brian Fantasy did. They have Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson. They got Terry, but is he playing?
Yeah, he's healthy. He's
nice. They got Jahan Dotson out there.
Curtis Samuel, Logan Thomas.
Yeah, they still got an O-line. They still got defensive players. I think Arizona is going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. Jonathan Gannon sucks. Worst coach in the league. And Washington.
He's got to be one of the most awkward. When I coach, I'm not a rah-rah person. Like I give quick speeches and I'm like, listen, that's not my job. Like I'll put you in a good position to play and I'll give you a little quick thing.
Do you feel it in your gut?
But he's just when he first met Kyler Murray, he's like fireworks.
That is so weird.
Touchdowns.
Well, he
running.
I don't want to bash the guy, but I will because I'm an Eagles fan.
Well, he's cringe. Is what it is.
Before we move on from this game and Jonathan Gannon, apparently, I don't know how valid any of it is. I didn't look into it. I just read an article or 2 articles. Apparently, Jonathan Gannon came up with this story that I don't know if you guys read this, that the first year they were on the team, Nick Sirianni came into the office like midway through the year when we were kind of not doing that great before we went on our run. And he was like fuming. He was mad. He's like, I can't manage the team, call plays at the same time. And Gannon, this is what Gannon said. And Gannon was like, I just said, just let Shane call the plays. And then it was like a light bulb moment for Nick Sirianni. And then it was like he asked Jonathan Gannon for advice and all this stuff. And apparently the Eagles are saying that's a complete fabrication lie. And I believe it.
Deception.
And then apparently they were talking to Jonathan Gannon about the Super Bowl II the other day, and he's like, I guess sarcastically, yeah, it's my fault we won.
We lost.
Oh yeah, my fault we lost, which it was. But he's like, what a complete turd of a coach. I don't hope for people to lose their jobs.
I can't help but to see Murph from Impractical Jokers whenever I look at him.
Yeah, he does look like Murph, doesn't he?
Just from that video, hilarious. I would be sad if I was an Arizona fan. That video, I just can't get over it. Like the
one where he's in front of the whole team.
Yeah, and he's like, when you were on the bus or driving into the game, did you feel it in your gut? And then it just pans to the players, and they're just like this.
He's like, raise your hand if you took the bus in today.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
If you drove.
And then he just finished it off. You should feel it. I'm like,
yeah, you should feel
time for lunch.
Yeah. He needs to go watch Dan Campbell. He needs to go watch Robert Saleh. Like, those guys know how to fire up a team to get them going ready for a game.
Yeah.
Passion is what I boil it down to. And
I feel like,
I'm not saying Gannon's not passionate. You just didn't feel any passion with that. I mean, he could have just changed the way he said it, and it could have been a little better.
No more attention for Gannon on this platform.
Okay,
fair.
Moving
before
on.
Before we move on, though, Taylor said the famous Washington could Washington. Let's hope with new ownership that cloud is
the curse has been removed.
I was going to say that in my point that Washington should, I think, coming out of the gate this year is going to have a heavy hand because they have new ownership, and it's like
freedom.
Yeah, so
let's get it.
Washington today over Arizona, easy.
Smash
All right. Next one, we're starting to get a little more interesting. We have the Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. The Jags are only 4-point favorites, surprisingly.
People are hiring Anthony Richardson. I've seen that around.
He's my quarterback in every single fantasy league I have.
I have him as a backup in one of them. I'm excited to see if he can pull out the big numbers.
I
Pull
just
Justin
don't.
Fields.
I mean, I'm not. I like the Jags. I'm not as high on them as some people, but it's a rookie quarterback who this will be his like 13th or 12th like start since college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something crazy.
Jonathan Taylor's out. The Colts offense was kind of in shambles last year. Their defense fell off a little bit too. Like, this should be a game that the Jags come out real quick, 1-2, get a 14-0 lead, and then just put them in a chokehold.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking the Jaguars all day. I don't know why the spread's
Same.
so close. I guess because it's a division game and you never know what can happen. But I think Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson are going to build off of last year, coming in early this year.
And everyone's talking about how Travis Etienne's going to be featured more. Everyone's been talking nonstop about how Calvin Ridley's like uncoverable.
Calvin Ridley all day.
The years off, always worry you, but he looks good. And I mean, he was last time we saw him. His last full year he was really good, and then even the year he only played a few games before taking leave for the rest of the year, he looked good. So I mean, yeah, you're giving it seems to be a thing the last few years where these quarterbacks that look good that are young, they're given if he is the receiver he used to be, if they're given a good receiver like that, and then they pop off. And I think that could be a thing for Trevor Lawrence this year. And the Jaguars the Colts they have a few injuries. Anthony Richardson barely played, as you just mentioned, Taylor, and Jonathan Taylor's out. I think their backup running back's injured. Can't remember.
Zach Moss is out, so Deion Jackson's going to be starting.
So I think, and it's a new first year head coach, Shane. So I think it could be a tough day. Anthony Richardson could have a good fantasy day if he, runs for 2 touchdowns or something. But from a pick'em's game, no, Jacksonville.
Yep.
Smashingville. Let's go.
Well, that was pretty easy. All right, now we're getting a little more interesting. We got the 49ers going cross country to take on the Steelers. The Niners are 2-point favorites.
So I know a lot of people are high on the Steelers this year. There's good reason. Kenny Pickett showed some progression at the end of last year and seems to, show it again in the preseason. You got some good weapons. You got, Pickens, Firemouth, Deontay Johnson, who didn't score a touchdown last year. That was odd. But we're talking about the number one defense in the NFL, at least according to last year. I'm riding with them all day. Brock Purdy did what he had to do last year. I think he'll do the same thing if they stick to the game plan this year. We talked about he's more of a short intermediate passer, get the ball to the playmakers. You got Christian McCaffrey. Like the Steelers, like what they got this year, but I think this one goes to the Niners, even coming across the country.
Yeah. I do like the Steelers this year. It's too early. It's week 1 to make any full predictions, but I like what Kenny Pickett put out this offseason. They still have George Pickens, second-year receiver. He looked really good. They have players on offense. Jaylen Warren looks good. Apparently, he's going to be 50-50 snaps with Najee Harris. Little tidbit there.
I'd rather bring up Najee too. Yeah.
And they still have who's their first receiver?
Deontay Johnson.
They had some other guys, but yeah, like you mentioned, 49ers were one of the best teams in the league last year. They have one of the best coaches in Shanahan. Defense is still there. My only thing with the 49ers coming into this game in particular is Brock Purdy. He did have that injury in the championship game. And he had to rehab this summer and wasn't throwing all summer. And he was a late round pick. He played a few good games last year. So we'll see I'm interested to see how he looks coming into this game. I think it could be a close game, but I'll give it the 49ers.
So I'm actually going with the Steelers. It's a cross-country game. So this would be a early game for the Niners. I was never a big Brock Purdy fan to begin with, even when he was on his little win streak last year. And the Niners defense is really good. They got Bosa just signed that mega deal. What's his name? Armstead.
Yeah,
Fred Warner.
Tafunga.
Yeah, Tafunga. Like, but the Steelers defense is good too. They got T.J. Watt, Highsmith.
Yeah,
Still got Hayward.
they finally helped some secondary out and drafted Joey Porter Jr., which is really
Yeah.
cool to see. Go back to his dad's team.
And like, I don't think it's going to be like a blowout or anything, but I think it's going to be a close game. I'm not giving a prediction, but I'll pick the Steelers for this game.
I mean, the line's not bad because I think it'll come down to if it's going to be a close game, it's going to be a field goal, obviously. So, the 2 points, was it 2.5, -2.5?
2.
49ers. It's not either way.
Kickers.
Go either way.
Opposing kickers seem to struggle kicking over there. So yeah, we'll see. We'll
true.
see. It's our first.
Sure stadium.
It's our first split, so we'll see how that goes. All right, next up on the board, we have the Tennessee Titans at the New Orleans Saints. Saints are 3-point favorites. I guess I'll take this one.
Only makes sense.
I mean, I don't think the Titans are going to be like anything like crazy this year, but I think their defense is going to be much improved. I know the defense wasn't great last year, but people keep saying it's going to be a terrible defense. They still have the D-line should be, good. You got Landry, Simmons, Autry, Arden Key, T.H. Hart. Still got Byard and Hooker at safeties. Coverage should be improved. And then there's no my thought process is there's no way the O-line can be as bad as it was last year. It's just impossible. So that gives Derrick Henry a little bit of a break. And I don't think Tannehill is going to be, competing for like a Pro Bowl or anything, but he's got Hopkins, Burks, Chig. You still have Henry to dump off some screens that they do.
Is he healthy?
He's been
Tannehill?
Yeah, he's good.
Did I just say Tannehill?
That's what it sounded like. He's been proven to be a good game manager at the very least. And if you can do that successfully every game, you give your team a chance to win. Especially when you have Derrick Henry sitting there just waiting to plow people over. And I'm definitely excited to see y'all's defense healthy, especially with Harold Landry going out the way he did. But like the week before the season started, last year it was just a heartbreak. He got a deal too. You guys got that defensive front is something fierce.
I think that they can definitely control the game. So ideally, I'll see Derek Carr getting sacked nonstop. But yeah, I'm going with the Titans. Little home team bias.
I'm rocking with the Titans too. Derek Carr isn't. I'm never going to be sold on Derek Carr until he wins. Something special. It's a playoff. So a game of significance. New team. We'll see. He seems to embrace the culture down there, but doesn't mean success will follow.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the Saints here. I hope the Titans win. I always root for the Titans, but the only reason why I think it'll be a close game, but since it's in New Orleans, I'm leaning towards the Saints. Derek Carr, he is what he is. But he is better than Andy Dalton. They still have weapons there. Chris Olave, I think, is going to have a huge year with Derek Carr. I hope the Titans' defense is better than it was last year, but they did struggle against receivers last year. So if Chris Olave can't have a big game, I could see that being an issue. But I think the closer the game is, the better chance for the Titans, but I'm going to go with the Saints.
All right, well, you can leave the show now.
Also, Alvin Kamara is out for 3 weeks. I think that's might be a factor as well. If Kamara's playing, he's a dynamic weapon. It's a totally different story.
If he was playing, I would like to see. I think that would be definitely Saints' advantage there, but we'll see. If you like you say, if the Titans can get pressure on Derek Carr all day, different story. But we'll see.
I'm gonna do a bold prediction. Titans get 2 pick sixes.
If that happens, they'll win.
Kevin Byard.
All right. Next game, we have the Las Vegas Raiders going to Denver. Let me find my thing for this game. The Broncos are 3.5-point favorites. Are we buying into the Broncos turnaround?
I should know better after what happened to me last year, buying into the Broncos in the offseason. You guys, to your credit, said it was fraudulent, and they failed me in epic fashion. But
Melvin Gordon is probably my best call, though.
yeah, but I think that in another call by RJ, Josh McDaniels sucks.
Surprise,
now,
surprise.
the one thing he did do good last year, which I called, was that he gets the most out of his running backs, and Josh Jacobs had a huge year. He is back. His holdout's over. But well, I'm starting to think. I'm taking Denver. I think Denver needs to start off with a win in the Sean Payton era and Russell Wilson to have confidence. Jerry Jeudy is out. I think he's out.
Yeah, he's out.
So that's you would love to have him there week 1, but I'm going to go in a close game. I'm going to take Denver, and they're at home.
Yeah, I'm going Denver. This is Sean Payton's return, so he's got to have them prepared. Javonte Williams is back. I think the combination of him and Samaje Perine is going to be pretty effective. Honestly, the combination of McDaniels and Garoppolo just doesn't scare me.
It doesn't sit where it doesn't feel. I mean, they could prove it was wrong, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the move.
They also know Darren Waller, so
yeah, we'll see. I'm taking
the
Broncos.
Raiders are probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year,
and we're going to get to see you great matchup. Wow, why am I spacing? Broncos corner.
Surtain. Surtain. Yeah, I'll just say something.
Yeah, Surtain up against Devontae Adams, so that'll be one to keep
Devontae Adams. Yeah, it could be.
That will be nice to watch.
That could be a trade, mid-year thing, depending on how the Raiders are doing. Josh Jacobs too.
In his second year too, that would just hopping around. He goes to New York.
Oh Jesus, I hope not.
So we all. Trevor, you went with Broncos. I go Broncos. RJ, who'd you go with?
Broncos. I had another point, but I can't remember what it was.
Too bad.
It's all good. It was Broncos Raiders related. I just couldn't remember.
No worries. Next game on the slate, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to Foxborough. The Eagles are 3.5-point favorites. I guess
low.
Yeah, we'll go to you, resident Eagles fan.
Yeah, I think that's really low. I know they're in New England, so whatever. And I know the weather's not. I don't think the weather's supposed to be great at kickoff. I don't know where. I have no idea what the weather's supposed to be. That's just my assumption based off what it's been here in the morning. But I don't know. Philly coming in with a full head of steam. I think they lost to the Chiefs. I think they've got a lot of motivation this year with the returning guys. They got new pieces on defense. So we'll see how that goes. Middle of the defense is completely new in the back end. Linebackers are new. Safeties are new, besides Reed Blankenship. He played last year. But I think that my one thing would be that Jalen Hurts is going up against Bill Belichick for the first time, but Jalen Hurts isn't a rookie anymore. He's good enough to,
He's also not a one-trick pony. You could just figure out a game plan against every.
Listen.
Multiple ends.
I think Bill Belichick's one of the best defensive minds to ever coach in the league. But if I'm the Eagles, if I ever start struggling, I'm just going to that little read option, AJ Brown, H-back play that they pulled out. I think that play is undefendable.
Well, I'm curious to see what the Eagles' offense can be. Very simplistic, but very powerful. And I'm curious what Bill Belichick will scheme up to prevent that. On the opposite end, though, I just think that the New England's O-line sucks, and it's beat up. Their whole team's kind of injured right now. So I think the Eagles are going to be coming hot at Mac Jones. Especially if they can get
New
off to like
weapons.
a touch. If they can like score, get a touchdown, 10, 14 point lead off the bat, they'll be coming at Mac Jones. So I mean, I'm taking the Eagles. I think 3.5's a little low. Eagles offense should be able to take care of business, and I just don't. I don't see
care of business.
I don't see New England putting up a lot of points against the Eagles defense, but we'll still see. We need to see how the linebackers do and the safeties for the Eagles. Just Pat's O-line, it is not it.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the Eagles. Excited to see Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, all them come together, see what they can do.
Jalen Carter's my watch for the day. I'm going to be watching him.
Yeah, I'm also worried because they do really well, and we got to face you guys twice a year. I know when to pack extra toilet paper.
Yeah, the 3.5 points is surprising because the Eagles defense, I think it's maybe not going to be as good as it was last year, but it'll still be good. And I think it's a really good match for the Patriots team. And on the flip side, I mean, the Eagles have so much weapons to throw at you. I just don't think this. Maybe if it was like middle of December in Foxborough, okay, but the first week one, like I'm not worried.
Not quite yet.
Yeah. All right, next game. By the way, we are also in the 4:00 hour Eastern time for these games. We have the Seahawks are playing. I mean, the Rams are at Seahawks. The Seahawks are 5-point favorites.
Yeah, I can see them winning by a touchdown. I mean, you saw the Rams last year. I mean, I know Matt Stafford's back, but Matt Stafford's old. His elbow is clearly not right.
I mean, Cooper Kupp's out, so they have literally no
too.
receivers. Van Jefferson is going to be their number one receiver. Probably Tyler Higbee is really going to be their number one threat.
And that's pretty sad if you're saying that.
Cam Akers, he was pretty good at the end of the season. We'll see if he can keep it up. But I mean, the Rams. This week we all knew this was going to happen. The Rams basically paid for their Super Bowl, and now they're suffering the repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Donald's getting a little older. He doesn't have much help back there.
Got Geno Smith resurging.
Yeah, Geno Smith has
great offense.
Yeah, good offense, weapons. Their defense should be improved.
Yeah, they have Devin Witherspoon. They still have Tariq Woolen, and then they have the other corner that they had 2 rookies like Kobe Bryant. So secondary stacked.
They got Njigba.
Yeah, Jackson's he's added another wide receivers. He's probably gonna play more of the slot role, and he did have that wrist surgery, but apparently he's all good. There's no issues whatsoever.
I like the Seahawks. I think they're going to end up in a lot of shootouts this year. I just don't think the Rams have the firepower to keep up.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm taking Seahawks all day. You guys got the analysts down,
especially in Seattle.
Yeah, I'm Seahawks.
Analysis. I had to correct my words.
Yeah, I'm all over the Seahawks. I mean, honestly, if you're this game, like one DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett bomb, honestly, and the game's over.
Love
unfortunately.
One thing for the Rams, I'll say before we go on to the next one, is that the Seahawks run defense was questionable at the best last year, and Cam Akers did play well, but I don't think that's enough to win. Next,
we also didn't bring up Kenneth. He was. We didn't bring up Kenneth Walker, who was a potential rookie of the year last year.
Yeah, he'll be good. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a highlight we forgot to mention.
Yes,
he's a little bagged up, but next game, the Miami Dolphins going cross country to take on the Chargers. Chargers are 3-point favorites. This one will probably be interesting.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great game. We talk about shootouts, probably be one of those. If Tua comes back, hopefully he can stay upright, and if he's slinging to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, it's going to be tough sledding for JC. Is JC Jackson healthy now?
Yes. Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, so you got JC Jackson over there. Shout out Maryland. But Justin Herbert, I think, he's one of my favorite of the young quarterbacks. I think one of y'all like him that much. I can't remember.
I like Justin Herbert.
I
Yeah,
think he's a little overrated.
yeah. I think he's going to keep making progressions every year, and I like the Chargers this year. I liked them last year too. It didn't work out, but I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, I'll keep it quick. I'm taking the Chargers because they're at home. I think Dolphins are going to be good again this year, as long as Tua stays healthy and avoids those concussions. Hopefully, shootout for sure. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, as RJ mentioned, big plays at any moment. I just really think that the Chargers need to start good. I hate Brandon Staley as a coach. And Taylor always says that the Chargers are cursed. I hope for just Herbert's sake that is not the case. And I think we'll have a big year and win some games. So
yeah, I like the Chargers. These teams are very similar. Jalen Ramsey's out. Chargers added another weapon with Quentin Johnson, rookie out of TCU. He got Rashawn Slater is back and healthy, which I think that really hurt him. He's one of the best left tackles in the league, and missing him last year affected them. So I'm going Chargers, and I'm hoping that this game puts the pressure on the Dolphins to try and trade for Jonathan Taylor.
they apparently want him. Gave him an offer already.
Alrighty, next on the slate we have, if I can find it, the Packers at the Chicago Bears. The Bears are currently a 1-point favorite.
I'm gonna go. Hang on. Bears are at home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bears here. Christian Watson's out. Romeo Dubs is
Questionable. Both ankle injuries too.
Yeah, that sucks for Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love's pretty good.
Pretty high
sucks,
on this year.
Your two of your top receiving weapons on the outside are out. They're gonna have to lean heavily on Dylan and Aaron Jones. Dylan,
Big old thighs.
Yeah, I think Justin Fields is gonna have another good year. I think he's gonna progress on from last year.
We gave him DJ Moore as another weapon.
Yeah, I think
O-line.
Yeah, I think the Bears will be able to put some points up here in week 1, so I'm taking the Bears.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Justin Fields fan, and I'm not sure about Jordan Love yet. I won't be shocked if, in typical Green Bay fashion, they just move on to another good quarterback. If Watson and Dobbs were healthy, I would be all over Packers, like not even think about it. But as it stands, I just got to go Bears. I don't really like either of these teams' defenses, so I'm going to go with the team that I think can put up points. So Bears are going to be able to run the ball. Fields is probably going to have his one like miraculous play, and as long as he doesn't get turnover crazy, I think DJ Moore probably snags a touchdown, and maybe even Cole Kmet. He's Fields' favorite target when he's scrambling around. So see if he can get downfield in the end zone.
Yeah, Bears have a ton of running backs too, so but with potential.
Yeah, I like the other rookie Roshan Johnson out of Texas.
Yeah, I like him too.
But yeah. All right. Now we're going
Bears.
I think we all picked Bears. So now we're getting to our Sunday night game. The Cowboys are going to take on the New York Giants.
Can we just pass on this one? I don't want either of them to win, so.
The Cowboys are 3-point favorites. Real quick, while we're talking about Cowboys, did you see Dak got a new tattoo?
Yeah, I sent that to you guys, and that is my reason why the New York Giants are winning week 1.
He got it put under so he could do an 11-hour sleeve session.
Yes, I saw that. Why would you admit that? Just say you got a leg sleeve. Why do you have to throw in the extra detail? It makes you look weak. I want my quarterback to be able to handle a sleeve. Or just don't get it all at the same time. Can't see it out there on the field anyways.
Yeah, so I'm taking the Cowboys. Dak aside, I will say I'm a little worried about the Cowboys' offense, but their defense should be legit. They're pretty loaded defensively, and until Daniel Jones shows that he can be an effective passer, I can't take the Giants seriously. I like their team. Barkley, they have Jalen Hyatt, they have Slayton, Bellinger at tight end, Darren Waller now at tight end. Their defensive line stout, but what's the Daniel Jones stat, RJ? He's never thrown more touchdowns than games played.
Yeah,
that I can't take you seriously with that.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
It's just
now
game
if he comes out and slings 3 touchdowns and runs for like another 50 yards and they win, cool. I'll give him his credit, but as it stands, I gotta make my picks fair, and I'm going with the Cowboys.
Yeah, but I think Barkley's resurgence last year being healthy really helped out the Giants with the run. I really do think that their overall record was a fluke. I don't think they'll do that again. I could be wrong, but overall, I mean, the addition of Waller's nice, gives him a big target, but he can't stay on the field most years anyway. So, I hate saying it, the Cowgirls.
Yeah, honestly, I said because of Dak's leg sleeve, I'm going with the Giants, but I think they added Darren Waller, and I like him a lot, and I think that's a good addition for Daniel Jones and his style of play, but they still lack weapons on the outside and receivers. Saquon Barkley, he had a good year last year. We'll see how that goes. And Dabble, whatever. He was a good coach last year, and I think he'll continue to grow. They did win a lot of close games last year, so we'll see. And I do think just for this game, realistically, the Cowboys probably have a little bit too much on defense and a little bit too much on offense for the Giants to handle. Cowboys, Tony Pollard's healthy apparently. They moved on finally from Ezekiel Elliott. They still have CeeDee Lamb. They signed Brandon Cooks, who always seems to play well wherever he goes. So I think it's a matter of
Gallup is back healthy.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of I think it's a matter of how Dak does this week. If he keeps the turnovers limited, unlike last year, they should be able to come in and win this game.
He'll probably still lead the league in interceptions, but
that'll be a rough year then.
All right, Monday Night Football. Only one game. Don't we usually have 2? But
they did last year for the second week of the year.
All right, so it's Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. The Bills are 2.5-point favorites. This is going to be the takeoff of the Aaron Rodgers era in New York.
In East Rutherford. I think it's going to be a great game. The Jets are a good team. Bills are a good team. They're going to be fighting all season long.
I will say I like the Jets. I've always kind of really liked the move of him going there.
Who's tapping?
I don't even hear it tapping.
It stopped now.
I heard tapping, but I don't know where it was. They got Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. Was this Jumanji?
Just keep going.
They brought in Dalvin Cook, but more so than anything else, I think the Jets' defense is just going to be a nightmare for opposing teams all along. They got Sauce Gardner, Quentin Williams, plethora of other players all over the field.
DJ Reed.
And again, they don't need Aaron Rodgers to be MVP Rodgers. They just need Aaron Rodgers to be average quarterback.
Yeah. I need to see it to believe it with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers and see how it goes.
And
I know.
no,
Go ahead. No, you go.
I will forever have an issue taking the Bills seriously until they get a legit run game.
I'm a big fan of James Cook. I
Yeah.
think he had like average like 6.1 yards per carry last year. I've obviously looked at his stats a lot, but I think they said they'll be leaning on him a lot this year, and if he can play like that, that should be good for them. I'm taking the Bills just based on from what I know with them. They've proven to be a contender with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs leading the offense, and their defense has always been solid. I just haven't. I want to see what Aaron Rodgers looks like on the Jets. If he comes out, lights it up. Brees Hall's healthy. They have the other Cook brother. It's going to be the Brothers Bowl, if you want to say that, with the Cooks.
They should be splitting reps too. It should be like a 50-50.
Yeah, on paper, the Jets should. The Jets are a Super Bowl contender on paper if you're going to get a decent Aaron Rodgers. So they should win this game too. But I'm going to take the Bills.
I'm going Jets.
Nice.
Quentin Williams is going to get 2 sacks, at least 2 sacks.
Not everybody can be right.
All right. Well, that does it for our week 1 breakdown. I think last year we did pretty good with our picks.
Still most proud of us picking when we did the Eagles, and we were like, this is going to be really hard for them to win this many games, and then they ended up winning that many games.
Yeah.
The only one that screwed us, I think, was the Broncos.
Yeah, screw the Broncos.
I didn't agree with it, but
yeah. This is just week 1. It should be easier to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to just dabble into fantasy a little bit. We're not, fantasy experts, but we're going to give some players we like in this. Okay, sorry, I forgot Trevor won his championship last season.
I won a championship last season too. Thank you.
I won a championship and I came in last in another league, so it's like split me down the middle. Polar
opposites.
All right, so I guess we can each give like a player that we are all in on this week.
You guys can go first.
RJ, you go first.
I'm going Jamar Chase. I think he's a guaranteed 25 to 30 point guy almost every week.
He's going to have like 3,000 yards receiving.
All right, Jamar Chase, that's not bad. I'm trying to think of a clever thing. My sure start, we'll say, is I like Brian Robinson. I think the Commanders are gonna, basically be in total control of this game against the Cardinals. Like I said, the Cardinals either are not playing, injured, or the good player, the few good players they have don't want to be there. So I see this as a game. Brian Robinson gets fed. Maybe churns out 100 total yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 goal line carries.
I like it. I hope Washington bullies Arizona to a point where Gannon just wants to quit.
Just walks off the field. I would love
that.
The
field.
Please stop it. Stop.
You see Kirk Cousins come out. You like that? You feel that?
Oh my goodness. You feel it down in your plums. My start of the week, I'm torn between a few guys here, but I'm going to go. This one I don't love because of the outcome of the game. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go Cam Akers because the Seattle's run defense struggled last year. Cam Akers was on fire the last few weeks of the season, last 6 weeks or so.
Cold start.
If the Rams can keep the game close, the better it is for Cam Akers' projections. It does hurt that Cooper Kupp's out. This could be a terrible pick if the Seattle goes off to a big league, but I think Cam Akers has a very high ceiling this week.
All right, that's fair. All right. Now a player that we are not so
Serpentine, my pick first.
Okay. So who are you fading this week?
My fade of the week. I like that. Good word. It's
I mean,
fancy.
it's very common.
Well, I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time, anyways. So
It was a sitting and starting. It is, yeah.
I'm a standard fantasy guy. Sit and start. Fade of the week. What's fade of the week for start?
It just means you're fading them back.
I know,
into
no,
the
no, I know what it
background.
means. I know what it
Oh.
means. But what's the equal
Yeah.
equivalent to start?
I
Smash
don't
it.
know.
Smash.
That's what I do.
Anyways.
Usually you don't talk about the over in a bet.
All
Smash
right.
the over.
My fade / sit of the week. I'm gonna go. Crap. I didn't write down who they were playing. 1 second. Oh yeah, Najee Harris. They're going up against San Fran. One of the best defenses in the league. And the reports are that Jalen Warren's going to be getting some 50-50 carries here. So Najee Harris, based on his, draft round area, I'd be a little worried about, starting him.
I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole.
There you go.
Jesus.
All right. Moving on. My fade of the week is going to be Dameon Pierce. I like him.
Running defense.
I think he's very talented. I think the Texans are going to run him into the ground until they get a good team built. But it is CJ Stroud's first start in Baltimore on a very, let me see the weather check.
It's pretty
kind of a crappy day. I don't foresee this being like the Peyton Hillis game where he came out of nowhere and ran all over the Ravens. So I would, unless you're like me and you have no one else to play, I would maybe sit Dameon Pierce this week.
I have him starting in the league.
Yeah, mine sit's going to be Tyler Algier because I think that Bijan Robinson will get.
Who is playing Tyler Algier this week?
You no idea. What do you mean? People with
he was like
so good last year.
He's a handcuff. If anybody's starting this week, they got like a 32-man league.
I've seen it either way. He's my sit.
I'll allow it.
All right,
Bijan. It's a Bijan mustard show.
All right, my other sit is Jerry Jeudy because he's not playing this week.
Yeah, my team lock of the week is Detroit.
Whoa! Taylor didn't introduce that yet.
No, I was just
jumping the gun here.
Way.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, all right,
sure.
We're gonna go to our no interference locks of the week. RJ already started, so
what? No sleepers in fantasy. We don't give these guys the goods.
What?
Huh?
Just
go Lions.
What was your pick of the week?
It was the Lions.
God, Bosh, this segment.
That was a joke, though. Obviously.
Oh, what's your lock of the week? Oh yeah.
They already played.
That went right over my head
because you said Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh well, yeah. My lock of the week is.
You got me.
Yeah,
fair and square.
My lock of the week is the Bengals over the Browns.
All right. It's bold statement.
Doing scores?
Sure. Throw one out there. Put it on the board.
The face. I'm going to go 30-17.
Okay. Lock it in.
All right. My lock of the week, I'm taking the Seahawks over the Rams. I'm seeing a 27-13 Seahawks.
I like it. My lock of the week is going to be the Commanders over the Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon sucks.
That's all you need to know. What would you do if the Cardinals ended up being good and like Jonathan Gannon starts getting hyped up as like the best coach in the league?
Oh God! See him being the coordinator real quick.
A lot on this podcast. Not. Just kidding. Probably would.
All right. Anything else we want to discuss today?
Wrap her up.
All right. So this is No Interference Live. This was our week 1 coverage. We are your host, Westside, Big Sass, and the Bull. Hope you enjoyed the show. We're going to be doing these live shows every Sunday, roughly around 10 o'clock-ish start time. But yeah, appreciate you tuning in and listening. Hopefully we give you some good advice. We will find out later today how that goes. So adios.
See you.
Peace.